Have you ever wondered why an actor didn't return for a sequel? Have you ever been disappointed when your favorite actor quit his starring role in a TV show? Have you ever heard rumors about a movie production coming to a halt because an actor walked off the set? Sometimes actors quit their jobs for pretty boring reasons, but usually there's a juicy industry story behind it all. Remember, if you want to see more lists like this, subscribe to our channel and make sure to join our notification squad.
Hot damn almighty, I bet you're right.
But before we start, can you guess the movie from these emojis? Stay tuned for the answer at the end of our video. Keanu Reeves in Speed 2. A young Keanu Reeves scored his first blockbuster hit in the 1995 action movie Speed, playing a SWAT officer stuck on a Los Angeles bus that will explode if it goes below 50 miles an hour. If you're wondering how a sequel could be spun out of that idea, you're not the only one. Both co-star Sandra Bullock and director Jean Debon returned for the 1997 sequel Speed 2 Cruise Control.
This isn't happening.
Which essentially has the same plot, but trades the bus for a boat. Reeves turned down the movie, and his role was replaced by a new character played by Jason Patric.
It's time to have a look at your face. Take off your mask.
No.
James Purefoy in V for Vendetta. For their follow-up to the Matrix series, the Wachowskis recruited classically trained English actor James Purefoy for the role of V, a masked revolutionary in dystopian England. 6 weeks into production, however, Purefoy dropped out, with many scenes already filmed. The Wachowskis and director James McTeague quickly replaced him with Hugo Weaving, who they worked with on The Matrix.
I wish there'd been an easier way, but...
Despite recasting the part, Purefoy can still be seen in much of the movie, but you won't be able to see his face or hear his voice as he's wearing a Guy Fawkes mask and Weaving's voice is dubbed over his.
Hello there, children. How would you like some Salisbury steak?
Isaac Hayes in South Park. In 2005, South Park released an episode in which they criticized the Church of Scientology. Isaac Hayes, a prominent Scientologist, criticized the episode and quit the series at the end of the season. For the premiere of the 10th season, Trey Parker and Matt Stone used old audio of Hayes to bring back the character one last time, only to kill him in gruesome detail. It may not have been the nicest way to go for a beloved character, but it certainly fit in with Parker and Stone's irreverent sense of humor. Michael Keaton in Batman Forever. After the smash success of Batman in 1989, Michael Keaton and director Tim Burton returned for another go-round in 1992's Batman Returns. While successful, the darkly gothic Returns didn't quite reach the heights of its predecessor, so Warner Brothers decided to take the franchise in a different direction and brought on Joel Schumacher for 1995's Batman Forever. Keaton, loyal to his friend Burton, wanted nothing to do with this film and turned down a reported $15 million payday for the role. This allowed Val Kilmer to take over the role until he dropped out of 1997's Batman and Robin and was replaced by George Clooney.
Let's start the show.
Dave Chappelle, Chappelle's Show. After years of toiling as a stand-up comedian and supporting actor, Dave Chappelle finally hit the big time with his own monster hit show on Comedy Central. The sketches on Chappelle's Show skewered topics like race, gender, politics, and the entertainment industry at large. After signing a $50 million deal for a third season, however, Chappelle walked away after filming just 3 episodes. Chappelle cited the stress of producing the series and returned to stand-up after leaving the show. After a few down years, Chappelle has recently teamed up with Netflix for a series of stand-up comedy specials. Jean-Claude Van Damme in Predator. In 1987, the muscles from Brussels, Jean-Claude Van Damme, was set to star opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in the iconic film Predator, but you wouldn't have been able to see his face.
You one ugly motherfucker.
You see, Van Damme was supposed to play the Predator himself, wearing a costume and a mask. Apparently, Van Damme didn't like this idea, so he dropped out of the project, leaving the role open for the 7'2" Kevin Peter Hall. I wouldn't fret too much. Van Damme went on to have a long and fruitful career, starring in movies like Time Cop and Universal Soldier. Sylvester Stallone in Beverly Hills Cop 2. Eddie Murphy's most iconic role is that of Detroit cop Axel Foley in the Beverly Hills Cop series. But believe it or not, that role was supposed to go to Sylvester Stallone.
You guys believe that?
When Sly was attached to the film, it was more of a straight-up action film, but Stallone dropped out 2 weeks before filming was set to begin, and the producers needed a replacement, and fast. They found that replacement in up-and-coming comedian Eddie Murphy, who was hot off the success of 48 Hours and Trading Places. And so the script was rewritten as a comedy, and everything went forward without the Italian stallion.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
Vin Diesel in Too Fast, Too Furious, and XXX State of the Union. In 2001, Vin Diesel broke into the A-list with his charismatic role as Dominic Toretto in the street racing thriller The Fast and the Furious. But instead of signing up for the sequel, Diesel and director Rob Cohen moved on to XXX, an equally successful action film about extreme sports star turned spy Xander Cage. Once again, however, Diesel bowed out of the sequel, leaving his roles up to Tyrese Gibson and Ice Cube. Nevertheless, Diesel's career took a downward turn, and he found himself back in the Fast and Furious fold for the 4th film of the franchise. Earlier this year, he also returned to the XXX franchise with the return of Xander Cage, the most highly anticipated film of 2004.
If you try to pull any Ferris Bueller, Parent Trap, Three's Company, FX, FX2, The Deadly Art of Illusion bull, I will beat you.
Chevy Chase in Community. After a few years out of the spotlight, former Saturday Night Live dropout Chevy Chase returned to television in Dan Harmon's Community. Immediately, Chase began to clash with showrunner Dan Harmon. After 3 seasons, Sony fired Harmon, disappointing fans of the series' unique voice. Nevertheless, that wasn't enough to keep Chase happy as he walked off the set at the end of the season.
This could be like Scrubs Season 9, a revamp, a do-over.
This allowed Harmon to return for a much better received 5th season after Chase's character was killed off of the series.
You're Han Solo!
I used to be.
Harrison Ford in Star Wars The Force Awakens. Whoa, be careful before watching the rest of this entry because we're getting into spoilers for Star Wars The Force Awakens. Harrison Ford didn't walk off the set or rip a contract. He didn't leave people hanging or turn down a huge payday. He just wanted to die. Or more accurately, he wanted his character to die. That's right, Harrison Ford actually thought Han Solo should have died in Return of the Jedi, but George Lucas, he wouldn't oblige him. So he brought the same request to J.J. Abrams before making The Force Awakens. And this time, he got his wish. That's where the heartbreaking scene of Han Solo facing off against Kylo Ren came from. And now, we will never see Han Solo in another Star Wars film ever again. Probably. Well, that's our list for the day, but you're probably wondering the answer to the emoji challenge is The Fast and the Furious. Did you notice the little car? That was the hint. That's all for this list, but be sure to subscribe to the Screen Rant channel and sign up for the notification squad. Have a good day.